Most common job interview questions for freshers answers. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and your background. How to answer. Use the present past future formula to shape your answer. Start with what you're doing now in terms of your career. Throw in some personal preferences. Take the recruiter back to the past and show him/her how your past shaped your present. End this answer with your future goals and aspirations you want to achieve. Sample answer. Hello, my name is Rajesh, and I graduated from XYZ University. I majored in B.Tech Computer Science. I've always had a fascination with computers since I was a child, and my fascination with computers led me to want to learn new programming languages. I am well versed in C programming, Java, data structures, and SQL. Along with these technical skills, I have strong communication skills that I believe are essential for this position. Our final year major project is a surveillance robot built with a Raspberry Pi microcontroller. We were a group of 4, and we used our coding skills to make the project a success. I am hard worker, passionate, consistent and disciplined. I was a member of ISTE, or the SP Society for Technical Education, a college club that organizes technical and non-technical events for all branches, where I discovered that I have excellent leadership skills. I've learned how to work well with others. I also have internship experience in this field and would like to use my skills to help your company grow while also improving my own. Question 2. Why are you interested in this position? How to answer. Introduce yourself, briefly mention your educational background and current career aspirations. Showcase your passion, share experiences or activities that sparked your interest in the field and highlight relevant skills you've acquired. Connect to the position, explain how the current position aligns with your future goals and what specific aspects excite you. Quantify your achievements, use specific examples and data to demonstrate your impact and potential value to the company. Demonstrate enthusiasm, express genuine interest in the company's mission and values, showcasing how you can contribute. Tailor your answer, ensure your response reflects the specific needs and culture of the company you're applying to. Sample answer. I am interested in this position because it aligns with my career goals and aspirations. As a recent computer science graduate, I am eager to apply my skills in a practical setting. I admire your company's achievements in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and I believe that working here would provide valuable experience and exposure to the latest technologies. My background in programming languages and frameworks, along with my project experience, makes me confident that I can contribute positively to your team. Question 3. What are your biggest strengths and weaknesses? How to answer. Strengths. Choose 2 to 3 strengths that align with the job description, focusing on skills and qualities mentioned in the requirements. Use specific examples to quantify your strengths, backing them up with achievements or experiences that demonstrate your contributions. Ensure your strengths are relevant to the position and avoid listing generic strengths. Instead of saying "I'm a perfectionist," rephrase it as "I have a strong attention to detail and deliver high-quality work." Weaknesses. Choose 1 to 2 weaknesses that you're actively working on improving, avoiding major weaknesses that could disqualify you. Focus on weaknesses that can be turned into strengths, showing self-awareness and a willingness to learn. Explain how you're addressing these weaknesses with specific actions like training, courses, or seeking feedback. Frame your weaknesses positively. Instead of saying "I'm shy," say "I'm working on becoming more comfortable speaking in public." Sample answer for strengths. One of my biggest strengths is my communication skills. I can clearly express myself both verbally and in writing, as demonstrated by my presentations and reports during college. Another strength is my analytical ability, which I have used to solve problems and make data-driven decisions in various projects. Sample answer for weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is that I sometimes struggle with delegating tasks. I tend to take on too much responsibility, but I am working on improving this by learning to trust others and using time management tools to prioritize tasks better. Question 4. What are your salary expectations? This is a common but tricky question that employers ask to gauge your suitability and expectations for the role. How to answer? Research the average salary for the position and provide a broad range. Express flexibility and interest in the role beyond salary. Sample answer. Thank you for asking me this question. I understand that salary is an important factor to consider when hiring a new employee. Based on my research and my experience as a fresher in the field of computer science, I would expect a salary range of 4 rupees to 6 lakhs per annum for this role. However, I am flexible and willing to negotiate depending on the overall compensation package, the scope of the role, and the opportunities for learning and growth within the company. I am very interested in working for your company and I believe that I have the skills and qualifications to excel in this position. Could you please tell me what is the salary range that you have in mind for this role? Question 5. Why do you want to work for this company? This is a common question that interviewers ask to assess your interest, motivation, and fit for the company and the role. To answer this question effectively, you should follow these steps. How to answer? Research the company's mission, values, achievements, and culture. Demonstrate your skills and experience. Express passion for the specific position and the company. Sample answer. I am drawn to your company because of your commitment to innovation and excellence in the tech industry. Your projects in artificial intelligence and machine learning align with my interests and skills. I admire your company culture and values, and I believe that my background in computer science and my passion for AI make me a great fit for your team. Question 6. What are your career goals? This is a common question that interviewers ask to assess your interest, motivation, and fit for the company and the role. How to answer? Think about your short-term, 1 to 3 years, and long-term, 5 to 10 years, career goals. Ensure your goals are SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Explain how your goals align with the position and company. Sample answer. Hi, I'm Rohan Kumar. Right now, I'm eager to get hands-on experience and use what I learned in my B.Tech, CSE, program. I want to be a valuable part of a great team and improve my skills in back-end development and web application design. In the future, I see myself taking on more responsibilities and growing into a higher role. I plan to keep learning by attending workshops and getting certifications to stay updated on industry trends. Ultimately, I want to specialize as a full-stack developer and bring new ideas to help Amazon succeed. I'm really excited about the chance to learn and contribute here at Amazon, and I think it's a great fit for my goals. Question 7. Do you have any questions for me? This is a common question that interviewers ask at the end of a job interview to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have about the company, the role, or the hiring process. How to answer? Have some questions prepared in advance to show your interest and enthusiasm. Avoid questions about salary, benefits, vacation, or social events in the initial stages. Some examples of good questions to ask are: What are the main goals and expectations for this role in the first year? How would you describe the work culture and environment of the company? What are some of the current challenges or opportunities that the company or the department is facing? How do you measure performance and provide feedback for this role? What are the next steps in the hiring process and when can I expect to hear from you? Some examples of questions to avoid are: what is the salary and benefits package for this role? How soon can I take a vacation or a leave? How often do you have parties or social events? What are some of the problems or complaints that you have about the company or the management? Do you have any reservations or concerns about hiring me? These questions may give the impression that you are only interested in the money, the perks, or the fun aspects of the job, and not in the actual work or the company's mission. They may also make you seem arrogant, negative, or insecure. It is better to save these questions for later stages of the hiring process, or to avoid them altogether. Question 8. Why should we hire you? How to answer. Explain how your skills directly benefit the company and address specific needs. Use data and metrics to showcase your achievements. Express genuine interest in the company and the role, highlighting cultural fit. Deliver your answer with confidence and clarity. Sample answer. I believe that you should hire me because I have the skills, qualifications, and experience that you are looking for in this role. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science and have completed several online courses and projects related to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. I applied my skills in a real-world setting as a web developer intern at ABC Tech Solutions, where I designed, developed, and maintained various web applications. My coding skills and creativity allowed me to create user-friendly, responsive websites that met clients' specifications. Additionally, my communication and collaboration skills helped me work effectively with my team members and supervisors. I received positive feedback from both clients and mentors on my performance and deliverables. Question 9. Tell me about a time you worked effectively under pressure. How to answer. Use the STAR method: situation, task, action, result, to describe a specific situation. Demonstrate your ability to handle stress and challenges. Sample answer. During a college project, we had to finish a big research paper quickly. It was a bit stressful because we had a tight deadline. To handle it, I worked closely with my teammates, making sure each person did what they were best at. Even with the time pressure, we kept talking about our progress and any problems we faced. I organized our work and set goals to keep us on track. We managed to finish the project on time, and it taught me how important it is to stay calm, work well with others, and solve problems together as a team. Question 10. Describe your experience with teamwork and collaboration. How to answer. Highlight specific experiences where you collaborated with a team. Explain your role and the outcome of the collaboration. Sample answer. In my internship, I collaborated with a team of designers and developers to redesign a company website. I took the lead on the user interface, ensuring everyone's feedback was incorporated, and the final product resulted in a 20% increase in user engagement. Alternatively, during my university project, I managed a diverse team of students from different backgrounds. We faced communication challenges early on, but by implementing clear communication channels and regular meetings, we built trust and delivered a successful presentation. Question 11. How do you stay organized and manage your time effectively? How to answer. Describe the tools and methods you use to stay organized. Provide examples of how you prioritize tasks and manage your time. Sample answer. I keep things organized using digital tools like calendars and to-do lists. I prioritize tasks to focus on the most important ones first. Regular progress checks and adapting my schedule as needed help me stay on track. For group projects, I use collaboration platforms to coordinate tasks. This proactive approach keeps my work efficient and ensures I meet deadlines effectively. Question 12. What are your technical skills and how do you stay updated? How to answer. List your technical skills relevant to the job. Explain how you gained and applied these skills, using specific examples. Describe how you stay updated with the latest trends and technologies. Sample answer. I have a solid foundation in programming languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, along with front-end frameworks like React and Angular. I also have experience with tools like Git, GitHub, and WordPress. During my academic journey in computer science, I've gained a strong understanding of web development methodologies, database management, and security best practices. To stay updated, I regularly engage in online learning through platforms like Coursera and Udemy, explore tutorials, and participate in forums like Stack Overflow. Networking on LinkedIn and attending webinars help me learn from industry experts and stay current with new technologies. Question 13. Tell me about a time you had to overcome a challenge. How to answer. Describe the challenge, explain the situation and why it was challenging. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to address the challenge. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my last university project, we faced a tough challenge when a team member had to leave suddenly. It messed up our plans and timelines. To fix things, I stepped up. I reorganized tasks, had extra meetings to keep everyone in the loop, and asked for advice from my professors. Even though it was tough, our team pulled together, and I took on extra work to make sure we still nailed our project goals. It was a great lesson in rolling with the punches, talking things out, and teamwork when faced with unexpected challenges. Question 14. How do you handle criticism or feedback? How to answer. Approach to feedback, explain your mindset towards receiving feedback. Actions you take, describe how you incorporate feedback into your work. Outcome, highlight the benefits and improvements you've experienced from feedback. Sample answer. I see feedback as a chance to grow. When I get criticism, I listen, stay open-minded, and focus on learning from it. I take proactive steps to improve, whether through more research or seeking guidance. I actively ask for feedback, considering it a valuable tool for my development. Question 15. Describe your communication skills. How to answer. Context. Mention a specific situation where you used your communication skills. Actions you took, describe what you did to communicate effectively. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. In my previous role as the marketing lead for our college music festival, I developed my communication skills significantly. I crafted engaging social media posts and press releases that attracted over 500 attendees. Collaborating with other committee members, I facilitated clear and timely updates, ensuring everyone was on the same page. During the event, I confidently communicated with sponsors, performers, and attendees, resolving inquiries and fostering a positive experience for all. This experience taught me the importance of tailoring communication to different audiences and navigating diverse situations calmly and effectively. Question 16. Are you comfortable working independently and taking initiative? How to answer. Describe your approach, explain how you handle tasks independently. Provide examples, share specific instances where you took initiative. Outcome, highlight the results of your proactive approach. Sample answer. Yes, I am comfortable working independently and taking initiative. Throughout my academic journey and personal projects, I've developed a proactive approach to tasks. I enjoy taking ownership of my work, setting goals, and ensuring deadlines are met. I believe that being self-motivated and taking initiative are essential qualities that contribute to both personal and team success. Question 17. Tell me about your experience with problem solving. How to answer. Describe the problem, explain the issue you faced. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to solve the problem. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my academic journey and various projects, I've consistently encountered and overcome challenges, showcasing my problem-solving skills. One notable example is when our team was developing a real-time chat application for our final year project. Faced with the challenge of optimizing network latency and ensuring low server load, I analyzed the code, identified bottlenecks in data transmission, and implemented a distributed caching system. This experience not only strengthened my problem-solving abilities but also taught me the importance of collaboration and iterative testing in finding scalable solutions. Question 18. What are your biggest accomplishments to date? How to answer. Describe the accomplishment, share a significant achievement. Actions you took, explain the steps you took to achieve it. Outcome, highlight the impact and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. While I'm at the early stages of my career, I take pride in a few notable accomplishments. One achievement was my role in developing a real-time data visualization platform during my internship at ABC Technology. As a part of a team, I was responsible for building the front-end user interface using React and integrating it with the backend API built in Python. This experience allowed me to hone my web development skills, collaborate effectively in a team environment, and gain valuable exposure to the software development lifecycle. Question 19. Do you have any experience with public speaking or presentations? How to answer. Describe your experience, share specific instances where you presented or spoke publicly. Actions you took, explain how you prepared and delivered your presentations. Outcome, highlight the results and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. Absolutely. While I'm still early in my career, I've had chances to polish my public speaking and presentation skills during university. I've done group presentations and led discussions in student clubs. Though it's mostly from my academic journey, I'm confident in expressing ideas clearly and engaging an audience. I'm excited to bring these skills to a professional setting and keep growing. Question 20. Will you be able to work overtime and even relocate if we ask you to? How to answer. Express willingness, indicate your openness to overtime and relocation. Provide reasoning, explain why you are willing to make these commitments. Outcome, highlight the potential benefits for your career and the company. Sample answer. Yes. For the right opportunity, I am definitely willing to relocate. I believe that this position and company is an opportunity to improve myself. I'm also willing to work overtime whenever such circumstances will arrive, as good things do not come easily in life, and I know I will have to sacrifice something for my professional success. Staying overtime, or even working on Saturday at times, does not seem like a big sacrifice to me, considering everything I can gain in your company. Question 21. Why are you the best fit for this job? How to answer this question. Describe your qualifications, explain how your skills and experience match the job requirements. Provide examples, share specific instances that highlight your suitability. Outcome, emphasize your passion and commitment to the role. Sample answer 1. As I have just started my career in computer science, I don't have many practical achievements to talk about. This gives me the liberty to explore my potential by giving my best to this organization. It will be an honor to work here and identify and develop my strengths. In college as well, I was very dedicated to my academics and learned programming languages like Python and JavaScript and did some projects. I also got appreciated for it. Hence I think I am the best fit for this role of SDE1, as I have ample knowledge in theory and I am willing to learn. Sample answer 2. Being a fresher, I think I am very flexible and adaptive to learning new things. I am sure I will be able to contribute something capable to the growth of the company. My last project in the public relations department of my college has taught me how to be a team player, and work in unison. I am sure that is a valuable quality that I will be bringing to the table. I will follow the company guidelines and always play by the rule books. Question 22. What's your salary expectation? How to answer this question. Avoid specifics, try not to mention exact numbers. Express flexibility, show willingness to negotiate. Outcome, highlight your openness to aligning with market standards and company budgets. Sample answer. I know I am just starting off my professional career, however, my personal salary expectation is around 25–30K in hand according to the market standards. However, I'm open to negotiating. Situation-based job interview questions and answers. Question 23. How would you approach a task you've never done before? How to answer. Describe your approach, explain your process for tackling new tasks. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you successfully handled an unfamiliar task. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. I tackle new tasks by breaking them down, researching, and seeking guidance. I create a plan, stay open to feedback, and adjust as needed. For example, when I had to use a new software tool for a project, I first researched tutorials and best practices, then applied what I learned step by step. It's all about learning and adapting to ensure success. Question 24. How would you handle a difficult customer or client? How to answer. Describe your approach, explain your strategy for managing difficult clients. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you successfully handled a difficult customer. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. I would handle a difficult customer or client with patience, empathy, and a problem-solving mindset. First, I'd actively listen to their concerns, showing that I understand and value their perspective. I then work to find a solution or offer alternatives to address their issues. If necessary, I would involve a supervisor or relevant team members to ensure a comprehensive resolution. The key is to remain calm, professional, and focused on turning the challenging situation into a positive experience for the customer or client. Question 25. Describe a time you had to deal with a conflict at work. How to answer. Describe the conflict, explain the situation and why it was a conflict. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to resolve the conflict. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. In my academic projects, I faced conflicts within the team. One time, we disagreed on the project approach. I resolved it by supporting open communication, listening to everyone, and finding a compromise. It taught me the importance of teamwork and effective communication, skills I'm ready to bring to a professional setting. Question 26. Tell me about a time you made a mistake and how you learned from it. How to answer. Describe the mistake, explain what happened and why it was a mistake. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to rectify the mistake. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During a project in university, I overlooked a critical detail that affected the overall outcome. Realizing my mistake, I immediately took responsibility, informed the team, and proposed a solution to rectify the error. This experience taught me the importance of thorough attention to detail and the value of transparent communication within a team. Since then, I've implemented double-checking processes in my work to ensure such mistakes are minimized, demonstrating my commitment to continuous improvement and learning from errors. Question 27. How would you prioritize your workload if you were faced with multiple deadlines? How to answer. Describe your prioritization method, explain how you decide what to tackle first. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you managed multiple deadlines effectively. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. When faced with multiple deadlines, I prioritize by urgency and impact. First, I tackle urgent and critical tasks that directly affect overall goals. Next, I schedule important but less urgent tasks with room for flexibility. Clear communication with my team helps adjust priorities as needed, ensuring quality work on time. Question 28. Describe a time you had to work effectively under pressure. How to answer. Describe the situation, explain the high-pressure scenario you faced. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to manage the pressure and complete the task. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my internship as a software development engineer, we encountered a critical bug fix right before a major release. With a tight deadline, I prioritized tasks by impact and worked efficiently using debugging tools and online resources. I also communicated clearly with my team, keeping everyone informed and collaborating effectively. We managed to fix the bug on time and delivered a successful release. This experience taught me the importance of calmness, prioritization, and teamwork under pressure, skills I'm confident will be valuable as an SDE. Question 29. Tell me about a time you had to go above and beyond your job expectations. How to answer. Describe the situation, explain why you needed to exceed your job expectations. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to go above and beyond. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my web developer internship, I once disagreed with a teammate about the best approach for a certain website feature. My first step was to calmly explain my reasoning and perspective. I also actively listened to their point of view, asking questions to understand their concerns. We then discussed different solutions together, considering both advantages and drawbacks. Ultimately, we reached a compromise that combined the best aspects of both ideas and satisfied everyone. This experience taught me the value of respectful communication, active listening, and finding common ground, even when opinions differ. Question 30. Describe a time you had to deal with a challenging problem and how you solved it. How to answer. Describe the problem, explain the challenging issue you faced. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to solve the problem. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my web developer internship, I once disagreed with a teammate about the best approach for a certain website feature. My first step was to calmly explain my reasoning and perspective. I also actively listened to their point of view, asking questions to understand their concerns. We then discussed different solutions together, considering both advantages and drawbacks. Ultimately, we reached a compromise that combined the best aspects of both ideas and satisfied everyone. This experience taught me the value of respectful communication, active listening, and finding common ground, even when opinions differ. Question 31. How would you approach a task that required you to learn a new skill quickly? How to answer. Describe your approach, explain how you go about learning new skills quickly. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you had to learn a new skill rapidly. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my web dev internship, I had to learn a new framework, React, for a project on a tight deadline. I started by breaking down the learning into smaller steps, focusing on core functionalities first. I used online tutorials, documentation, and even reached out to more experienced developers for help. I practiced by building small test projects before integrating it into the main one. This helped me learn quickly and apply it effectively, delivering the project on time. This experience showed me the importance of being a fast learner, resourceful, and not afraid to ask for help when needed. Behavioral interview questions and answers. Question 32. Give an example of a time you demonstrated leadership skills. How to answer this question. Describe the situation, explain when and where you demonstrated leadership. Actions you took, outline the steps you took to lead the team effectively. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. While at university, I led a group project. I organized team meetings, assigned tasks based on strengths, and encouraged open communication. Handling conflicts, we worked together to find solutions, creating a positive team vibe. The project was a success, showcasing my leadership, communication, and problem-solving skills. Question 33. Tell me about a time you were creative and innovative. How to answer this question. Describe the situation, explain the context where you needed to be creative and innovative. Actions you took, outline the creative solution you implemented. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. While working on a university project, I had to improve a process. Instead of the usual way, I came up with a cool idea using a new software tool. After convincing the team, we tried it, and it worked. It showed my knack for thinking outside the box and finding smart solutions to get things done. Question 34. Describe a time you demonstrated strong communication skills. How to answer this question. Describe the situation, explain when and where you needed to use strong communication skills. Actions you took, Outline how you communicated effectively. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During my college project, I played a key role in presenting our team's ideas to the class. I made sure to explain complex concepts in a way everyone could understand, used visuals to support my points, and welcomed questions. This experience highlighted my knack for clear communication, making the presentation engaging and ensuring our ideas were well received. Question 35. How do you typically handle difficult situations? How to answer this question. Describe your approach, explain your strategy for managing difficult situations. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you handled a difficult situation. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. When things get tough, I stay calm and think step by step. I break down the problem, focus on what needs immediate attention, and ask for advice from colleagues or mentors. I believe in talking openly about challenges and keeping everyone in the loop. I see difficult situations as chances to learn and grow, and I stay flexible to find solutions that work. Question 36. Give an example of a time you worked effectively as part of a team. How to answer this question. Describe the situation, explain when and where you worked as part of a team. Actions you took, outline how you contributed to the team's success. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. During our college festival, I was part of the organizing committee responsible for managing various events. In our team, I took on the role of coordinating volunteers, ensuring smooth execution of activities, and handling any unexpected issues. By working closely with team members, we created a vibrant and successful festival that left a positive impact on both students and visitors. This experience highlighted my ability to contribute effectively to a team and collaborate to achieve a common goal. Question 37. Can you be trusted with responsibilities? How to answer this question. Describe your reliability, explain why you can be trusted with responsibilities. Provide examples, share specific instances where you demonstrated responsibility. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. With my prior track record and referrals, I'd say yes. You can trust me. But I do feel that trust is earned, not demanded. Even the top companies of the world required years and consistency to gain trust. I just want to say that if you have faith in me and give me the opportunity, then I will make sure you will not regret it and I will surely earn your and everyone else's trust. I'll ensure to see to the end of every project and responsibility given to me without fail, and I can give you my word on this that you'll not be disappointed. Question 38. Describe a time you had to be adaptable and flexible. How to answer this question. Describe the situation, explain when and where you had to be adaptable. Actions you took, outline how you adapted to the situation. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. Building trust is crucial, and I understand that it's earned through consistent actions and reliability. In a previous project, our team faced a critical deadline. Despite unforeseen challenges, I took the lead in coordinating efforts, ensuring everyone was on the same page, and delivering quality results. This experience reflects my commitment to seeing projects through and earning the trust of my team. If given the opportunity, I will bring the same dedication to every responsibility entrusted to me, ensuring a reliable and successful outcome. Question 39. How do you typically handle stressful situations? How to answer this question? Describe your approach, explain your strategy for managing stress. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you handled a stressful situation. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. Dealing with stress is about staying cool and finding solutions. In my previous experiences, when things got intense, I stayed calm, figured out what needed to be done, and communicated clearly. Being adaptable and solution-oriented helped me navigate through. If you trust me with the opportunity, I'll bring the same cool-headed approach to handle any stress that comes our way, making sure we overcome challenges successfully. Question 40. Give an example of a time you demonstrated initiative and took ownership of a project. How to answer this question? Describe the situation, explain when and where you took initiative. Actions you took, outline how you demonstrated initiative and took ownership. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. Taking initiative and owning a project is something I actively pursue. In one instance during my college, we had a group assignment with a looming deadline. Recognizing the need for clear direction, I stepped up to outline the project scope, assign tasks based on everyone's strengths, and created a timeline for completion. I not only contributed to my designated responsibilities but also ensured the team stayed on track, fostering a sense of ownership and commitment. This experience showcased my proactive approach and ability to take charge of a project to ensure its successful completion. Question 41. Tell me about a time you faced a setback and how you bounced back. How to answer this question? Describe the setback, explain what happened and why it was a setback. Actions you took, outline how you responded to the setback. Outcome, share the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. In college, our group faced a problem when one person had to leave suddenly. Instead of getting stressed, I rearranged the work and talked to the professor for help. We not only finished on time but also did really well. It showed me that problems can turn into chances to be clever and figure things out. If you let me join your team, I'll bring this positive and problem-solving attitude to any challenges we meet. Question 42. Tell me about a time when you overcame a challenge. How to answer this question? Situation. Start with the context of the challenge. Task. Explain your role in the situation. Action. Describe the actions you took to overcome the challenge. Result. Share the positive outcome and what you learned. Sample answer. When I changed my major in college in mid-semester, I faced difficulties learning Java and other new subjects. Initially, I was hesitant to seek help, fearing judgment from my classmates. However, I realized that to improve, I needed to ask for assistance. I started reaching out to my classmates, who were supportive and helped me understand the concepts better. This experience taught me the value of asking for help and adapting to new challenges. By the end of the semester, I had significantly improved my understanding of Java and other subjects. Question 43. How do you typically handle criticism or feedback? How to answer this question? Approach to feedback. Explain your mindset towards receiving feedback. Actions you take. Describe how you incorporate feedback into your work. Outcome. Highlight the benefits and improvements you've experienced from feedback. Sample answer. Dealing with feedback is all about growth for me. When I get feedback, I listen, keep an open mind, and see it as a chance to improve. Constructive criticism is like a roadmap for getting better. I dig into the details, ask questions if needed, and actively work on making positive changes. It's all part of the journey to be the best version of myself. Question 44, can you handle working under pressure? How to answer this question? Describe your approach, explain your strategy for managing stress and pressure. Provide examples, share a specific instance where you handled a high-pressure situation. Outcome, highlight the result and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. Yes, I can work under pressure. Working under pressure is one of the things I learned during my internship. Initially, it was uncomfortable, but over time, I became more adept at handling high-pressure situations. For instance, as a customer relations intern, I often had to resolve complex issues quickly. By staying calm, prioritizing tasks, and communicating clearly, I managed to perform effectively and meet tight deadlines. This experience has made me confident in my ability to work under pressure. Question 45. Describe a time you had to learn a new skill quickly and apply it to your work. How to answer this question? Situation. Briefly introduce the context where you needed to learn a new skill. Task. Clearly state your specific responsibility. Action. Describe the steps you took to acquire the skill. Result. Share the positive outcomes of applying the new skill. Sample answer. During my web development internship, I had to learn the React framework quickly for a project with a tight deadline. I broke down the learning process into smaller steps, focusing on core functionalities first. I utilized online tutorials, documentation, and sought help from experienced developers. I practiced by building small test projects before integrating React into the main project. This approach helped me learn the framework efficiently and deliver the project on time, demonstrating my ability to learn quickly and apply new skills effectively. Question 46. Give an example of a time you demonstrated strong customer service skills. How to answer this question? Situation. Set the scene and provide context. Task. Explain your role and responsibility. Action. Describe your actions to address the customer's needs. Result. Share the positive outcome and what you learned. Sample answer. While I haven't held formal customer service roles, I've demonstrated strong customer service skills during volunteer work at a local community event. I was responsible for assisting attendees and addressing their concerns. I actively listened to their questions, provided clear and helpful information, and ensured they felt valued and understood. By showing empathy and effective communication, I was able to resolve issues promptly and improve their overall experience, leaving a positive impression on the attendees. Question 47. Tell me about a time you had to collaborate effectively with people from different backgrounds. How to answer this question? Situation. Describe the context or scenario. Task. Explain the specific task or project. Action. Detail the steps you took to collaborate effectively. Result. Share the positive outcomes. Sample answer. During my internship at a global tech company, I was part of a cross-functional team working on a product launch. Our team consisted of engineers from India, designers from Sweden, and marketing specialists from Brazil. I actively listened to team members' perspectives, considering cultural nuances, adapted my communication style to bridge language and cultural gaps, and respected different work styles. When conflicts arose, I facilitated open discussions to find common ground. Our product launch was successful, receiving positive feedback from global clients. This experience enriched our creativity and problem solving, and I built lasting professional relationships. Question 48. Describe a time you had to make a difficult decision and explain your reasoning. How to answer this question? Situation: set the scene and provide context. Task: explain the difficult decision you had to make. Action: describe your reasoning process. Result: share the outcome and what you learned. Sample answer: while I haven't faced major work-related decisions yet, I've encountered situations where I had to make difficult choices in my academic projects. Once, I had to choose between focusing on a group project or studying for an important exam. To make an informed decision, I considered the deadlines, potential consequences, and long-term impact on my grades and the project. Ultimately, I decided to prioritize the group project because it had a more immediate deadline and would significantly impact my team members. This decision taught me the importance of prioritizing tasks based on urgency and impact, and it improved my time management skills. Question 49. How do you typically stay motivated and engaged in your work? How to answer this question? Acknowledge your motivation, explain what drives you. Provide examples, share specific instances where you stayed motivated. Outcome: highlight the result and what you learned. Sample answer: while I haven't held formal work positions yet, I can honestly say that I'm highly motivated and engaged in activities that I find meaningful. For example, during my academic projects, I stayed motivated by setting clear goals, breaking tasks into manageable steps, and celebrating small achievements. I am driven by learning new things, achieving goals, and making a positive impact. The opportunity to work at your company truly motivates me, and I'm confident that I can bring the same level of dedication and enthusiasm to this role. Question 50. Are you applying for other jobs? This question can be tricky, but honesty and transparency are key. Here's a template you can adapt. How to answer this question? Acknowledge your job search, be honest about your job applications. Highlight your interest, explain why you're interested in this specific role. Frame it positively, mention how exploring multiple options helps you make an informed decision. Express enthusiasm, show your commitment and interest in the role. Sample answer: yes, I am actively exploring different opportunities in the tech industry as I'm eager to start my career in a role that aligns with my skills and goals. However, I am genuinely interested in this specific position at your company because of its reputation for innovation and the unique aspects of the job that align with my career aspirations. Exploring multiple options ensures I make an informed decision about my career path, but the opportunity to work at your company stands out significantly. I am confident that my skills and dedication can contribute significantly to your team, and I am eager to learn more about how I can fit in. HR interview questions and answers for freshers. 1. Tell me something about yourself. This question is usually the first question in an interview, and it is a way to break the ice. You should answer this question by giving a brief overview of your education, work experience, and skills. You should not go into too much detail, but you should provide the interviewer with enough information to determine if you are a good fit. Sample answer: thank you for allowing me to introduce myself. My name is Aman and I am from Meerut city in Uttar Pradesh. I completed my Bachelor of Technology with the CSE branch from XYZ University. First of all, I want to introduce myself with my soft skills. I am optimistic, smart, self-confident, hardworking, and have a positive mindset. My technical skills include proficiency in Java programming language, C programming language, and HTML. Also, I have a good command of MS Excel and web technologies. My interests include dancing, internet surfing, chess, and listening to music. In my leisure time, I enjoy reading news articles on my mobile phone. 2. What are your strengths? When answering this question, you should focus on your strengths related to the job you are applying for. For example, suppose you are applying for a position in customer service. In that case, you might say that your strengths include excellent customer service skills, problem-solving skills, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. Sample answer. My time management skills are exceptional, and I'm well organized, efficient, and systematic. I enjoy excelling at my job. Did you know? Light bulb. The average interview lasts about 40 minutes, but 20% of interviewers admit they know if they will hire someone within the first 5 minutes of the interview. 3. Why are you interested in this job? Be sure to do your research on the company before you go in for the interview. Talk about how your skills and experiences make you the right candidate for the job. Sample answer. It's an honor and a privilege to work for an established company like yours. As I researched the job opening you have, I realized that my abilities align with your requirements. Through this job, I can showcase my technical skills to help the company's development. 4. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? This is a question that is often asked in job interviews. It is meant to assess your long-term goals and whether they are aligned with the company's. It can also be used to gauge your ambition and determination. Sample example. Over 5 years, I'd love to take advantage of every opportunity the company will give me to gain knowledge through the external and internal training programs. My dream career objective is to be a technical architect. Hence, I am looking forward to creating different products that embody the mission of this company and contribute to making a positive impact while speeding up my path to becoming a tech architect. 5. Would you like to work overtime or odd hours? You need to be very sincere in answering this question. Do not tell a fake story or make a compromise to get the job. If you are comfortable with overtime working, you could say this. Sample answer. I understand that putting extra effort impacts the company's development, so I'm happy. If it means I'm contributing to the company, I'll be glad to contribute. HR interview questions and answers for experience. 1. Why did you leave your last job? Be very cautious in answering this query. Avoid blaming employers for their mistakes and stating that salary was less or poor work management. Instead of this, you can say that. Sample answer. It's a professional shift. I've gained much from my last job, but now I'm seeking new challenges to expand my perspectives and gain an entirely new set of skills. 2. How do you handle stress, pressure, and anxiety? It is a common interview question to determine your performance under pressure and stress. Sample answer. Under pressure and stress, I usually utilize my soft skills and handle every situation calmly. I also perform physical exercises and mind-relaxing activities like meditation to deal with work stress and pressure. 3. Is there anything that makes you different from other candidates? You have to answer this question in a way that showcases your strengths and qualities. Talk about the things that make you stand out from other candidates. Don't be afraid to brag a little bit. After all, you want to show the interviewer that you're the best. Sample answer. There are a few things that make me different from other candidates. First, I have a lot of experience working with different teams and managing projects. I'm also great at communicating with people, so I can easily build relationships with clients and co-workers. Finally, I have a strong interest in learning new things and taking on new challenges. Fun fact, research shows that 33% of interviewers make up their minds about a candidate within the first 90 seconds of an interview. Light bulb. 4. Tell me about a time when you were not satisfied with your performance. There are a few reasons why interviewers might ask this question. One possibility is that the interviewer wants to understand if you can take feedback and improve upon your weaknesses. They may also be looking to see if you can admit when you have made a mistake and how you coped with the situation. Sample answer. I was not satisfied with my performance when assigned to lead a project and failed to meet the deadline. I felt like I let my team down and was very disappointed. I learned that it is important to set realistic goals and communicate with team members if there are any delays. 5. Tell me about a time when you experienced difficulty at work while working on a project. The interviewer wants to know how you handle difficult situations. They are looking for a pattern of behavior, so they want to know about a time when you had difficulty with a project. They will also want to see how you combated that situation and what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. The most difficult project I ever worked on was a website redevelopment project. The client had very specific and detailed requirements, and they were constantly changing their mind about what they wanted. This caused a lot of reworking, and it wasn't easy to keep the project on track. In the end, the client was happy with the final product, but it was a very stressful experience. 1. Tell me about yourself. This is usually the first question asked in an interview, so it acts as your introduction. How hard can it be to talk about yourself? We do it on a daily basis, without much thought. However, hiring managers aren't looking for your whole life story, your third-grade achievements, or what you had for dinner last night. Instead, they are looking for a pitch. Make sure your answer is relevant to the position you are applying for. Aim to present yourself as the ideal candidate for the job in a few words. A good rule of thumb is to structure your talking points as follows. Briefly introduce yourself. What's your name? How long have you been working in the field? What do you love about your job? What are your top 2 to 3 skills or achievements that are relevant to the job you're applying for? Now, let's go through some sample answers. Introduction 1. Hey. So, my name is John Doe and I've worked as a business analyst for 5+ years in Company X and Company Y. I have some background in data analysis, having studied information systems at ABC University. Throughout my career, I've done some pretty impressive stuff, if I do say so myself, haha. For example, at Company X, I led a project to migrate all operations data to a new data warehousing system to cut down on costs. The new solution was a much better fit for our business, which eventually led to savings of up to $200,000 annually. Not bad, right? But if you don't have a lot of work experience, you can still make a stellar introduction. Introduction 2. I am Jane Doe, a recent college graduate from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I have just graduated with honors in biochemistry. I know my way around a lab and have had multiple opportunities to put my knowledge into practice as a chemistry research assistant. The lab felt like home, which is why I'd love to work as a lab assistant. I am passionate, hardworking, and extremely responsible. I am also looking forward to putting into practice all the things I learned during my time at university. Learn more about how to introduce yourself in an interview in our dedicated article. Number 2. Describe yourself in 3 words. There are tons of different versions of this question, like what word would you use to describe yourself, and what 5 words would people use to describe you, but the same idea applies to all of them. The interviewer uses this question to test how well you can summarize your key strengths and if you can make a convincing elevator pitch in a few choice words. So, make sure to choose words that are positive, relevant to the job.